Something extraordinary has just been confirmed. The interstellar object 3-2 Atlas, already a mystery on its journey through our solar system, has performed the impossible. Multiple observatories, including the James Webb Space Telescope, recorded the same shocking event. Atlas appeared to teleport across space, shifting millions of kilometers in an instant. No known comet, asteroid, or spacecraft can move this way. What Webb observed defies the laws of physics, and the implications are forcing scientists to question whether we are seeing a natural phenomenon or evidence of something far beyond our understanding. The discovery of 3 Atlas and its unusual nature. 3 Atlas was first identified in July 2025 by the Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System Atlas survey in Hawaii. At first, it appeared to be another faint comet entering the inner solar system. But orbital calculations quickly revealed that this was no ordinary object. Its trajectory was hyperbolic, meaning it was not bound to the Sun and would eventually leave the solar system entirely. This made Atlas only the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected after Oumuamua in 2017 and Boris in 2019. What immediately set Atlas apart was its speed and size. Moving at more than 210,000 km/h, it traveled far faster than most comets. Initial estimates placed its nucleus between 5 and 50 kilometers wide, significantly larger than Oumuamua, and more comparable in scale to the Martian moons Phobos and Deimos. This made Atlas not just rare, but also potentially one of the most massive interstellar bodies ever observed passing through our neighborhood. The composition of Atlas also raised questions. Spectroscopic data revealed an unusual balance of materials. Unlike solar system comets, which are dominated by water ice, Atlas showed an 8-to-1 ratio of carbon dioxide to water, a composition far closer to the thin atmosphere of Mars than to any known cometary body. Even more puzzling was the detection of strong nickel emissions far exceeding those of iron on Earth and in most comets. Nickel and iron occur in roughly equal proportions. In Atlas, this imbalance suggested a fundamentally different formation environment or possibly the presence of materials not yet catalogued on Earth. Adding to the mystery was Atlas's red coloration visible in optical imaging and its growing coma that expanded into a massive plasma cloud. These anomalies quickly pushed the object beyond routine study. Atlas was no longer just another comet. It was a cosmic puzzle carrying chemical and physical signatures that pointed to an origin unlike anything in our solar system. Scientists knew it was extraordinary long before the teleportation event occurred. The teleportation event, the event that has now shaken the global scientific community, occurred during what should have been a routine observation campaign. On August 2025, several observatories were tracking 3I Atlas as it approached its closest passes inside the inner solar system. At precisely 14:32 UTC, instruments monitoring its position recorded something that no known physical law could explain. Atlas appeared in one location, exactly where models predicted it would be. Seconds later, it was detected millions of kilometers farther along its orbital path, covering a distance that should have required weeks of travel at its already extraordinary velocity. The James Webb Space Telescope positioned at the Earth's Sun L2 point delivered the most definitive confirmation. Webb's highly sensitive infrared instruments captured Atlas in 2 separate positions during the same observation sequence, separated by just over 30 seconds. Unlike ordinary motion blur or imaging artifacts, the 2 detections were spatially consistent with Atlas's trajectory, but temporally impossible. There was no evidence of acceleration, no heat signatures, and no outgassing jets that could account for such a leap. Ground-based facilities independently reported the same phenomenon. The Very Large Telescope in Chile, the KEK Observatory in Hawaii, and a series of smaller observatories across Europe all recorded the displacement at the exact same timestamp. These confirmations ruled out the possibility of instrument error or data corruption. The European Space Gaia satellite provided precise astrometric data showing a sudden angular shift consistent with a teleportation-like event. Meanwhile, NASA's Deep Space Network reported a brief disappearance of Atlas's radar echo as though the object had ceased to exist in measurable space before reappearing further along its course. This convergence of data from multiple independent systems has left little room for conventional explanations. Optical, infrared, radio, and astrometric methods all reported the same impossibility. Scientists now face a troubling reality. Atlas did not simply accelerate it. It bypassed space entirely. For decades, physics has defined the speed of light and orbital mechanics as universal boundaries. In a single event, Atlas demonstrated behavior that challenges both. The teleportation event, as it is now known, is being described as the most significant astronomical anomaly ever recorded. Scientific verification and competing theories. Once the initial reports of 3I Atlas's sudden displacement were circulated, the priority shifted to verification. Astronomical anomalies are not uncommon, and history contains many cases where unusual signals were later traced back to instrumental glitches or calibration errors. What made this event different was the unprecedented level of agreement across multiple platforms. Teams at NASA, ISA, and leading universities immediately began reprocessing the raw data. Webb's infrared imaging was the starting point. Engineers checked for thermal interference, detector errors, and timing offsets within its MIR and near-spec instruments. All tests came back normal. The observations were internally consistent and could not be explained as system noise. The Gaia astrometric data was equally robust, showing Atlas's position jump with a precision margin of less than a millarch-second. Independent verification of timestamps across observatories confirms synchronization, eliminating the possibility of human error in logging or data transmission. The scientific community then split into several camps, each proposing different explanations. The most conservative view argued that Atlas experienced an extreme ouching event, releasing volatile materials that temporarily accelerated it. However, spectroscopy revealed no corresponding emission signatures. Another camp suggested the possibility of gravitational interaction with an unknown body such as a massive but unseen object in the outer solar system. Yet, orbital calculations showed no anomalies in nearby planetary or asteroid motions that could support this theory. More radical interpretations began to gain traction. Some theorists proposed that Atlas might have interacted with the localized spacetime distortion, perhaps a naturally occurring wormhole or exotic field effect. This could explain its apparent disappearance and reappearance without violating relativity outright. Others argue that Atlas's highly unusual metallic composition, especially its strong nickel dominance, could indicate non-natural origins, possibly even an engineered object with propulsion capabilities unknown to human science. While no consensus has been reached, what unites all perspectives is the recognition that this event cannot be ignored. The data is too consistent and the implications are too significant. Whether natural or artificial, Atlas has demonstrated behavior that pushes the boundaries of established physics and compels the scientific community to reconsider its assumptions about interstellar objects. Global response and security implications. The confirmation that 3 Atlas had apparently teleported was not confined to scientific journals. Within hours of the data being verified, governments and space agencies worldwide were briefed. The possibility that an object could shift position across millions of kilometers instantaneously raised both scientific fascination and serious security concerns. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office held emergency consultations to assess whether Atlas posed a potential impact threat. Although orbital models indicated no direct collision with Earth, the teleportation event rendered previous trajectory predictions unreliable. If Atlas could change position in ways that defied classical mechanics, its future path could not be confidently projected. This uncertainty alone was enough to alarm policymakers. Military organizations quickly became involved. The US Space Command, the European Space Agency, and China's CNSA all redirected surveillance assets, including classified satellites and radar arrays, to maintain constant monitoring. What unsettled officials most was not simply the object's unknown behavior, but the possibility, however remote, that it represented technological control rather than natural processes. If Atlas was artificial, its sudden displacement could be interpreted as maneuvering, raising questions about intent and capability. The global public also reacted with intensity. News outlets ran with headlines suggesting alien technology or threats to Earth. Social media amplified speculation with theories ranging from extraterrestrial probes to secret weapons tests. Stock markets experienced volatility as investors grappled with the broader implications of an event that seemed to challenge physics itself. Religious and philosophical leaders were drawn into the discussion as well, confronting questions about humanity's place in the universe. Amid the uncertainty, an international task force was quietly formed, combining scientific experts, defense officials, and intelligence representatives. Their goal to coordinate monitoring, share data across borders, and prepare for potential scenarios ranging from continued scientific observation to planetary defense contingencies. For many involved, the collaboration reached levels rarely seen outside of global crisis. The overarching concern was simple. If Atlas could teleport once, it could do so again. Each new displacement risked destabilizing predictions and with it humanity's sense of security. Whether comet probe or something else entirely, Atlas had now become more than a scientific anomaly. It was a global priority. Theoretical physics in crisis. The 3 Atlas teleportation event has thrown the field of physics into turmoil. For over a century, Einstein's theory of relativity has defined the cosmic speed limit, stating that no object with mass can exceed the speed of light or bypass the natural flow of spacetime. Atlas, however, appeared to do both, vanishing from one position and reappearing millions of kilometers ahead in less than a minute. Such a leap directly challenges the foundations of orbital mechanics, relativity, and causality. At first, some researchers attempted to reconcile the data within existing frameworks. A few argued that Atlas's jump could be a form of non-gravitational acceleration caused by sudden outgassing similar to what was hypothesized for Oumuamua. Yet Atlas showed no evidence of jets, no increase in brightness, and no heat signatures that would indicate such an outburst. The absence of physical exhaust left this explanation unsupported. Other physicists began exploring exotic models. One theory suggested that Atlas may have interacted with a localized wormhole or spacetime anomaly, effectively tunneling from one point to another without traversing the space in between. This would account for its sudden disappearance from radar and reappearance at a new location. However, wormholes remain purely theoretical, requiring exotic matter with negative energy density, something never observed in nature. Another proposal pointed towards spacetime manipulation, akin to the Alabier warp drive concept. In this model, Atlas would not move faster than light itself, but instead compress space in front and expand space behind, allowing for apparent superluminal motion. If correct, the implications are extraordinary. It would mean Atlas or whoever engineered it, if it is artificial, has harnessed principles of physics far beyond human capability. A third camp considered quantum mechanical effects, citing data showing Atlas's spectral signature briefly appeared in 2 places at once during the event. This macroscopic quantum superposition would be unprecedented and would suggest matter can maintain quantum coherence on scales billions of times larger than anything observed in laboratories. Regardless of which theory, if any, proves correct, one fact remains undeniable. Atlas has exposed the limits of our current understanding. Physics, once thought to provide certainty about how the universe behaves, now faces its most profound challenge in generations. Music, continuing observations and humanity's future. In the weeks following the teleportation event, 3I Atlas has remained under round-clock monitoring. Every major space agency, research institutions, and even private observatories have turned their instruments toward the object. What they are finding suggests that the anomaly is not a one-time occurrence, but part of a pattern of unpredictable behavior. Subsequent observations have detected minor positional shifts inconsistent with gravitational modeling. These smaller jumps, though less dramatic than the original event, appear to occur at semi-regular intervals. Gaia's precision astrometry continues to log angular deviations too sharp to be explained by random perturbations. Webb's infrared data further shows that during these shifts, Atlas's spectral lines fluctuate briefly, hinting at rapid structural or energetic changes within the object. Some spectrographs even recorded temporary double signatures, as if the object existed in 2 locations simultaneously. Equally puzzling is the evolution of Atlas's coma. Its dusty plasma envelope has expanded to extraordinary proportions, hundreds of thousands of kilometers across. Yet, the distribution of gases and metals remains irregular. The dominant presence of carbon dioxide and nickel continues to defy normal cometary chemistry. More unsettling are electromagnetic anomalies detected during shifts, short bursts of structured radio emissions, and low-frequency plasma waves. Unlike the random noise usually associated with natural outgassing, these signals appear to correlate with the timing of positional jumps, fueling speculation that Atlas may be more than a natural body. The implications extend far beyond astronomy. If Atlas represents a natural phenomenon, it may reveal new physics of interstellar matter or exotic spacetime effects never before observed. If, however, its behavior indicates artificial design, humanity may be facing its first confirmed encounter with advanced technology from beyond our solar system. Either scenario carries enormous consequences. Governments and scientists alike now frame Atlas as a turning point in human history. For the public, it has become a symbol of both awe and fear. Evidence that the universe still holds secrets capable of overturning our deepest assumptions. As Atlas continues its passage, each new observation adds pieces to a puzzle that grows more complex with time. Whether comet, probe, or something in between, Atlas has already changed how humanity views its place in the cosmos.